what's up everybody? Welcome back to another 3D Hangouts. My name is Noah Ruiz. I'm a designer here at Adafruit, and joining me every week is Mr. Pedro.
What's going on everybody? I'm Pedro, creative tech here at Adafruit, and every week we come to share 3D printed projects featuring electronics from Adafruit.
That's right, this year we combine 3D printing, DIY electronics to smash them together and make inspirational projects. Good morning everybody, hope everyone is doing great. Let's go ahead and start off the show with this morning's coupon code is geocache. That's right. If you want to pick up anything in the If you guys want to pick up anything in the Adafruit job, please use coupon code geocache to get 10% off your order during checkout. This works on just about everything in the store except for gift certificates and subscriptions. So we have some free deals as well. Adafruit.com/free. For orders that are $99 or more, you get a half-size perma proto. For orders that are $199 or more, you get the half-size proto and CircuitPython Express, our flagship lovely project. And of course, for $299 or more, you get all that, plus tax, and free US continental UPS ground shipping. So that means if you get a printer and you're in the States, you get free shipping on it. It's pretty good. Same-day delivery is an option in New York City. Certain zip codes apply. Check out the website for that. CircuitPython meetings happen every Tuesday at 2 p.m. This week, it was led by Katney, one of the lead developers in CircuitPython. This happens in our Discord channel. So check out our Discord server. The invite is discord.gg/Adafruit. That's where we're all hanging out. That's where all the devs hang out and all the awesome people in the community with over 9,000 members and growing. Thank you guys so much for joining. Newsletters. Adafruit Daily is the daily newsletter that you gotta opt in, that you have to opt into. So go to adafruitdaily.com to see all the different categories. My favorite, Maker Business, and of course CircuitPython. For the new products newsletter, that's newsletter. It's adafruit.com/newsletter. Again, you have to opt into this. You don't automatically get added because we don't like spam and we don't spam people. So you have to work to get that. Yeah, so one last piece of housekeeping is the Adafruit jobs form is open. So if you're a maker and you want to have some skills and you want to pay your bills, you can head on over to jobs.adafruit.com. Please do so. Make a profile if you're a maker, or if you're somebody that's looking for maker skills, somebody to build your project. Why don't you check out all the awesome people there and post up your thing. It's free to do so. It's our gift to the community. Check it out, jobs.adafruit.com. And that's all the housekeeping. Now we can talk about you guys. Shout out to everyone. Thank you so much for joining us. We have Olinsky in the chat room. We have 83. We have Lordvos. And of course, Stuff with Kirby. Kirby, shout out to Kirby for being an awesome community member. We actually met up at Disney World's Epcot, and we're hanging out, had some dinner, and very cool guy. So give him some loves. All right, we are going to bounce into this week and last week's project. We were out last week on vacation, but we still managed to release a very useful project. One for this lovely new device called the iPad.
Yeah, so this is a really good companion to the Trellis, all those lovely Trellis projects we've been coming out with. Figured we'd take a break from that and add a nice little iPad bumper case to the newly released iPad Pro. So of course, first thing we do when we get a new device is make a case for it. So this is all Ninja Flex, flexible material, so it's nice to the touch, nice chamfers all around, and of course, one of the most important things is it keeps your device nice and level, so you don't have camera bump, making it all, you know.
Yeah, that's the notes. You've hit a note.
So of course we have the cutaways for the USB, the power, and some lovely little bumps here for the volume, the up and down. Yeah,
huge note. This is Ninja Flex Cheetah. So this was designed specifically for using flexible materials, the TPU style of material, which is flexible materials. So this was printed on the Ultimaker S5. It's a fairly large print, so that's the only printer. Huge shout out to the Ultimaker team for making such a reliable printer. It's our workhorse go-to printer, and it fits on the bed. So that worked out really well. It's a Bowden type of printer, so sometimes the flexible stuff's a little bit challenging to print with them, but not with Cheetah. Cheetah has a shore hardness of 95A, which is the shore hardness. It's not as elastic as the 85 original NinjaFlex, but it's still very flexible, virtually indestructible, and it's definitely going to work out over longevity. Like, it's not going to deteriorate.
Yeah, so we do have to use support materials just because of the overhang that we're using here. It's a pretty large overhang that we need to actually hug the entire iPad. So it slips in like that, it goes over the entire thing, like that.
Yeah, so again, I'll note, you can't do that with PLA. That'll snap and break. Yeah. So we don't recommend PLA, so please don't use PLA.
So lovely cutaways for the way, super happy on the way, the geometry that came out for the little buttons here. So we got a nice little cutaway with the little nubs that are interfacing with the volume up and down button. You should be able to add this on the, I think it's on this side where the Apple Pencil goes. See if that should give it a little bit more strength for the magnets to be able to attach to the pad. On the back we have the little frame here that's connecting both of the sides, because the size makes it a little bit more floppy. So you can see the top and bottom here. It would be a lot more floppy if this was not connected to the other side.
It adds tension to the edges so that it kind of retains its shape. We printed it without that, and it wouldn't fall out, but it would definitely floppy when you pick it up. This edge here would just like come off because there's no tension to it. Here, it's not as bad because there's not much width here. There's more length over here, so that's why it's definitely important when you're designing something that's really long. You definitely want to have some extra tension, and having this little geometry here is nice because then you can kind of highlight the Apple. You could even add more here and here to give it like a super sturdy, so this wouldn't flop there. But there's so many cool things that you can do with this. One of the ideas we had was to add some loop rings potentially, maybe to this side here, so that you could kind of have a satchel. Maybe, or if, dude, this thing has an amazing camera. Yeah. It's like better than the phone in our camera. The phone in our camera, the camera on our phone. It works phenomenally well. It has some features we didn't even know it had.
One of my favorite ones is the live
it's turning into an iPad commercial
review. Yeah. So there's, of course, this Fusion 360 file, so you can adjust any of the parameters for this. We have a whole Learn Guide for that if you want to jump into that.
Let's jump into the Learn Guide. This one just talks about the project as a whole. You definitely want to use NinjaFlex filament. We carry a bunch of NinjaFlex filaments to the point where we buy them by the pallets. So definitely check out our filaments. We have some really good prices on them. And we have them in different colors, different shore hardnesses, and of course different filament diameters. So all good things there. So check those out. Back over to the learning guide, one of the really useful cables that we have is the USB-C to micro B cable. This is really handy because you can connect things like the Trellis M4, which has a micro USB port, and connect it directly into the USB port of this guy, of the iPad. There it is, iPad, looking at itself. Very cool. So there's some NinjaFlex there, and our favorite printer, of course. And even some blue tape, which is useful for printers that don't have a heated bed. This blue tape is really nice. We'll talk about the other stuff, but this is a really nice tool that we use for just about anything, cutting off headers and removing support material. This is the Haku flush diagonal snips. They're always handy to have, and we recommend them if you don't have them already. So let's hop over to the 3D printing page where you can find the slice settings and some more, the red right here, hey, this is for flexible materials, not for PLA, stop doing it.
The dimensions for this will not fit on a rigid material.
Stop printing our NinjaFlex designs in PLA. That's my thing. So here's some slice settings that we used on our setup using Cura 3. The latest has really nice materials profile, so check that one out. Printed with a regular nozzle and a 0.2 layer height. So there you go. So tell me about the support material. You do want to use some support material, and it seems to work pretty well with the stuff.
Yeah, jump into the preview of this. You can see the GIF animating.
Oh, yeah, let's do that.
There is going to be you are going to have to use support materials. Set it to everywhere, and the one trick is to dial down the density down to 5%. So you have a nice clean break from the geometry and the support material there. You can also add a support interface if you'd like, but you don't really need it. It should print The density should be low enough to just pull right out. Sweet. And then you do your cleanup with the flush and the hobby knife to get some nice clean edges on that. I did have to use that on the cutaways to get that nice little clean edge on the power and the USB port.
Let's do overhead real quick. Can you show that?
Yeah. So to get that nice and clean, as well as the power button there.
Yeah, normally we don't like using supports with, especially with flexibles, but they turned out very, very good.
Yeah,
we're quite
really
surprised. There wasn't much string as well, and the retraction was turned on, I believe. Yeah.
The retraction was set to.
So you can totally print with retraction settings, kind of default, or to whatever the material profile is set to, and just give it a try.
Yeah,
it works out pretty well. Yeah, especially with Cheetah. That's what I was saying. The Cheetah stuff is really nice. You can print faster and better quality, I think.
Yeah, faster in terms of...
Faster, the speed of printing.
Yeah, it still takes about 5 hours, I think.
Oh, well, it's huge. Yeah, it's huge. Another design tip is if you were to print this where this was fully covered, that would take 10 hours or something ridiculous.
Probably.
So having a minimal type of area here works out really well. So that's why it's super minimal and pretty much optimized for 3D printing.
Yep. Used a heated glass bed. I believe it was set to like 60°C, and that worked out perfectly.
Yes.
What other settings do we have there? Layer height, 2 millimeter, 0.2 millimeter for the height.
Yeah, the retraction distance is 8. It's the default.
That's what the default was,
really
yeah.
Good, man.
And 25 for the print speed. You might be able to bump it up to 30, but that's...
Yeah, it's up to your system, however you have it set up. But always start off with the base and then work your way up there.
Vision 360 file is included as well, so you can take a look at the STL. You can just print this out, or of course the
right here
step file.
There you go.
Take a look at that.
You can download it by opening that link, and then up here at the top there's a little download button. You click on that, and then you have all the different file formats you can download it in. You can even mill it if you'd want out of a DXF.
That would be cool, yeah.
So there's the design. All the sketches and parametric timeline is all part of the Fusion 360 file, which is why we like to give away the file.
Yeah, the radiuses are adjustable through the sketches.
Yeah.
It should be easy to adjust that.
There's that really nice geometry inside there.
Yeah. So the little cutaway we were saying, the first question, of course, that we got was, does this work with the Apple Pencil?
Probably, maybe.
I don't know. Does this work with the Apple Pencil? Let's test it out.
Let's do a live test here. We haven't opened this yet.
I know, it's just been sitting there.
Yeah, this is an Apple Pencil, the new one.
Will it work? I don't know. I bet it does not work.
Yeah, the magnets might not be that strong.
No way.
It works?
It freaking works.
Does it flop out? No, it's holding it.
Okay, that's cool.
Let me blow on it. Hold on. No, it's still there.
Well, I wish that we had time to show this in the video.
Nah, it's fine.
But check it out.
Yeah,
it works.
I think there was a comment like, I bet the Apple Pencil doesn't work.
I was betting with them. Well, I was not expecting it to work.
No, it works great.
Does it work from the other side? No, the magnet's only on this side.
It's only on that side.
Okay, cool. So there you
go.
go.
How does it dock with it? A pair. How does it pair with it?
I don't know.
We'll leave that for another show.
Oh, there you go. It works.
If you charge it,
and it doesn't come off.
Isn't that how you're supposed
It's supposed to be charging. Yeah, it says right there, charging.
Oh, okay, so it does.
Sweet.
It does recognize it.
Okay, cool. There you go. Works with the Apple Pencil.
That's how it connects wirelessly. Is that right?
Yeah, that's how it charges. Look at that. It's nice and
yeah.
How thick is on it?
How thick is the
1.5 millimeters.
So 1.5 millimeters is how thick it is. You could make it thicker. I wouldn't go any thinner than that. Just for
1.5. Yeah, I was gonna make it 2 millimeters, but it quickly starts getting really chunky.
Maybe if you're printing with a thicker nozzle, you could try a thicker thing if you want, if it works out. But
it's pretty cool. Yeah, wasn't expecting to use it with the pencil, since a lot of the things that we're using it for is a nice little companion for the Trellis, the Neo Trellis. Of course, all of the
it's
music.
It's a phenomenal music making device. If anything, that's what you're paying for. This thing's phenomenal.
We'll have some musical stylings of Noah.
Yeah, a little
bit later.
Yep.
But
all right, so that's last week's project. I think it's a pretty handy one. As we say, every time we get a new device, it's up to us to kind of create a custom solution for it.
Yeah.
Protect it. Good exercise in 3D modeling and problem solving. Pretty sweet. So check it out. Files available for free, and we got a Learn Guide for you.
Yay.
That's excellent. So let's talk about this week's project, which we just launched earlier this morning. This is a GPS tour guide using the Adafruit HalloWing and Ultimate GPS. So we have a Learn Guide for you guys set up. This walks you through everything you need to put this together. This was an idea from PT he had like 10 years ago, where he wanted to create a music player that was geocaching, sort of location based. So when you get to a landmark, it would play back a song or a secret hidden message. And now that we have something like the Adafruit HalloWing, this is a board that has so many things on it. It has a display, it has Cap Touch, it has a built-in amplifier so you can play back really good sound. When you bundle all that up with the Feather ecosystem, you can expand on it. So that's why we have a ton of Adafruit HalloWings, Adafruit FeatherWings, and this one is the Ultimate GPS. So you can add GPS to your HalloWing and display some images and play back some audio. So that's pretty cool. Another awesome thing about the HalloWing is it has all these JST connectors right on it, so you can plug in things directly. So it has built-in USB LiPo charging, a power circuit already, so you can regulate your 3.7 LiPo battery. So that's what we got going on there. Just plug it in. The speaker, you just plug it in. We're starting to use these little Pico blade connectors, which is great. So you don't have to solder directly into the board, which is really nice. So those are the parts lists. We got some hardware things as well, like the cables. We have some pre-made JST 3-pin cables, which is really nice. That connects to the Sense port on the HalloWing. Again, another awesome feature of the HalloWing. And for anybody that's new to this project, new to any of the products or CircuitPython, we have some prerequisite guides that are linked here that will walk you through setting everything up or finding out more about the pinouts and things. So that's the introduction to the project. Real quick, I'll run through this one. So we actually took this to Disney's Epcot, and we were walking around World Showcase, and the idea was that as we would walk through the different countries, so the World Showcase represents like 11 countries, and you just kind of walk through them, find out a little bit about history, food, that sort of stuff. Of course, merch is Disney. And so we put in some locations, some countries, and as we were walking up to them, we actually had it play the national anthem and even display some things like the flag or cool landmarks. So that was us at Disney Epcot over the weekend, or really last week. And we went to some of the rides too, like Test Track, and over here this is Mission Space. So you kind of pull it up and you can listen to some audio clips of myself because I did the voiceovers. So it'll be like, hey, this is World Showcase, and kind of fun things like that. So it was fun to take the project there and actually test it out at different locations and display different things. So that was really cool and really fun. Back over to the Learn Guide.
One thing to note, security did not have any issues getting through into the parks with nice little gadgets there.
It just looks nice. The 3D printed case doesn't make it look intimidating or whatever. It just looks like a legit thing. Cool. So let's run through the guide a little bit. So over here in the circuit diagram, just kind of get a visual representation of how to wire up the things. Again, everything just kind of connects and plugs in. It's just the switch that you kind of have to solder in the battery, the button, which is right there. So you can check that out. If you ever want to use and create your own circuit diagrams, we like using the open source software called Fritzing, and we have the Adafruit parts library as well that you can download individual parts or the library as a whole. Huge shout out to Dave Estells. Dave Estells wrote the code for this project, and just check out his Learn Guides. He's doing some phenomenal work with Adafruit. You can check him out. You can follow him on Instagram. He's at D Estells. You can just type that in.
Check out the newly released, super awesome, totally time appropriate Circuit Playground Express ornament.
Yeah, using micro blocks, which is kind of like a code block based editor, which is really nice. So check out him, give him some love, and he's also on Patreon too if you want to help him out. Sweet. So the first part here just kind of walks through setting up the HalloWing with CircuitPython latest version every time a new version comes out. Definitely worth upgrading your hardware. It's super easy to do. You just download a UF2 file and drop it in. That's what's awesome about CircuitPython, is that it's so easy to update the firmware, switch out the firmware, and add libraries. So here's some of the libraries. We actually have a GPS library written in CircuitPython. And yeah, so those are the recommended libraries that you can get from the library bundle. So we have that as well. You can download the whole bundle and pick and choose some of the libraries. There are some file constraints that you can fit up to 8 megabytes on the SPI flash that's on board the HalloWing. Yeah, and then you can pick the libraries that you want. As far as the assets as far as the assets and stuff for getting images and WAV files, we walk you kind of through that. There's here's like a kind of a sample of how to add locations. It's all stored in a locations.txt file. So this is an example of one of them. So you have a number and you have the longitude and latitude. So if you go to Google Maps and you type in any of the addresses, if you look at the URL bar in your window, normally it has the longitude and latitude numbers, and that's how you can pull it from. So when I was putting together my trip at Epcot, I was just searching around and pulling, copying and pasting those longitude and latitudes into my little spreadsheet. And then the following stuff is assets. So you get a bitmap. We're using bitmaps currently right now. The image display library that we have for the display on the HalloWing uses bitmaps. So you can load those up, type them out, give it the right file name, and then the audio stuff is done in WAV format. And we also have a learn guide. If you have MP3 or something else, you can convert that using open source free software to convert the audio formats for the microcontroller. And then this is the format. It's a WAV mono PCM, and you can do 48 kilohertz. I recommend like 22. That way you can fit way more longer audio clips on your SPI flash. So there you go. The code is on GitHub. There's some sample assets as well. So those were actually by Dave. He put together some stuff around his local area. So there are some
hidden geocache locations as well.
There you go. So that's fun. So you can reference all that, and of course it's commented as well. So if you want to dig in there, you can read all the comments that Dave set up. So that's the software in a nutshell. Moving on to the 3D printing, pretty simple two-piece snap fit together case. There's a little bracket for securing the button, and there's also a bezel that kind of is a snap-in piece that shows the screen, kind of highlights the screen. CAD files are available to download. I have a nice link for you guys there. They're on GitHub and Thingiverse. Slice settings, pretty standard slice settings. We always have the same there. There's a little note about tapping the mounting holes with the screw tab. Installing the bezel is pretty straightforward. Just line up the little pegs and it snaps in. If you guys want to create new designs, we always have this link here. It's the Adafruit CAD's parts library that's on GitHub. So if you have something like Fusion 360 or SolidWorks or even Tinkercad, you can use our 3D parts that we use in our projects. So for example, the GPS module, the FeatherWing, and the HalloWing as well is all up there. And then one last note here, the filament that we use, people really like the filament that we use. And we really like the filament from Filamentum. They make this really nice glitter infused filament that's pretty nice. And I got some links there for those. Excellent. And the rest of the guide just kind of walks you through the assembly. So, you know, when you're working with the feather wings, there's so many different options for headers. So this one just shows you which headers work best on this project. Wiring up the button, just a little note here. This is a really nice button. You can get a pack of them from the shop. And they have this really nice metal ball at the end of them. And they have this super satisfying click to them. So they're very tactile. And I just have this little diagram here to show you how the pins are shared and the polarity so that you can wire it up properly to one of these pre-made 3-pin JST cables that plugs directly into the HalloWing, which is awesome. The slide switch is wired into the GPS module, so that has 2 pins. It just follows through the guide. It's pretty simple to wire that one up. Installing the button. So I have this kind of neat way to secure the button to the side of the case with this little 3D printed bracket. So that it kind of snaps and hugs onto that side there, and then you use 2 screws to join the bracket to the side of the case. So you get this really secure button. Pushing it, you can push it as hard as you want and it won't come out. So that's really neat. Kind of a new way to secure buttons to things.
Definitely be using this geometry for future button mounting, since if your little standoff breaks, you don't have to print your entire case all over again.
Yep,
a neat way to do it.
There's some neat remix options you could do, I guess. Here's the button on the overhead. You get this really nice click. There's just a hole there and 2 other holes, so it's pretty simple geometry to model. And then on the inside, we can probably see it if I just take this off. You kind of see it in there. It's kind of being hidden, but there's the bracket with those 2 small screws here. You can use 256 screws, which are imperial screws, or you can use the M2 screws is what we suggest using, because we like metric screws. They're the best. I said it here. So there you go. There's securing the button. Installing, and then the rest kind of shows you how to install the Ultimate GPS FeatherWing. There's some built-in standoffs to the bottom half of the case, and those just get secured with these screws. You know me, I like screws. I like the metal ones, and these ones work pretty well. I have them linked in the overview if you want to get these exact screws. Installing the switch, it's pretty straightforward. It's a little slide switch. We have a little holder with the end stopper at the end, so that when you push the button or when you slide the switch, it'll stay in there and won't fall out. So that's always nice. Then the last page is the assembly, putting it all together, plugging in all the things. Yeah, like I said, the speaker just plugs right into the little port there on the HalloWing. Same thing with the battery. We're using that 400 milliamp battery, which really works well with all the feathers because it's got a really short cable, and it fits in between, for the most part, between the HalloWing and a FeatherWing. So that's cool. Everything gets stuffed in there. The speaker has this little kind of sticky end. You peel off the little protector film, and then you can stick it to the little cylinder thing that I have there set up. So I have a little dedicated spot for the speaker to fit into with holes and stuff. And the last part is kind of snapping the HalloWing onto the GPS FeatherWing. Because it has really nice headers, it just kind of snaps in there and gets secured in place. So that allows the top half of the case to just come off and not have to worry about things, attached to that half. It just comes off easily. And there you go. There's just snapping the case together. We got these lanyards in the shop as well for wearing badges and things. Really nice. I would definitely pick those up. Those are nice lanyards. The USB port is accessible there. If you use the right headers, the USB port should line up perfectly like that. So that's pretty much it. That's the guide in a nutshell. If you walk through it and read it, there's much more details. We just kind of ran through it because we're running out of time. But there it is. Right now it's searching for satellites. So I have this really nice image that is royal free. I got it from iconfinder.com. So you can get some really cool graphics. The graphics that we share are a little bit more basic. So you can totally update them. If you have something like GIMP or Photoshop, you can make some really cool images for your custom themed out GPS tour guide or whatever you turn it into. So there you go.
Super cool project. Perfect for communities. I want to do like a little community walk or a photog. You know how they do like the photo walks would be totally cool. For cities. You can easily hear and see some of the spaces to like take photos or whatever.
Yes.
Super cool. Edit. It's just text file. Type in your GPS coordinates and it loads like a USB drive. So it's super easy to modify. Really cool project that has made it super easy because CircuitPython, all the lovely feather ecosystems that are now in place. Super cool.
Yep. Last week we put together a tutorial on how to design a case with these really neat edges and corners. So that was a lot of fun. So check that out if you want to learn how to model a case like this.
Oh yeah.
Pretty neat.
You called it cutting corners.
Yeah. Cut corners.
Super awesome. Check it out.
Yep, so that's the project. If you want to pick up anything in the shop, some of the parts to build this project maybe, you can use the coupon code GEOCACHE. Yeah, the case looks like it's made out of granite, says Andy Calloway. Yeah, that's why we really like this filament. It has some really nice texture to it. There, it almost kind of gets rid of the layer lines. It just looks like a lovely filament. And there's glitter in it. Can't quite get this camera to focus today. Maybe the autofocus is turned off.
I have to steal some of the jokes from Mr. Certainly saying that geocache is valid in any longitude or latitude.
Nice. Yeah. So there you go. This is the Vertical Galaxy filament. They sell it in different diameters. So check it out. Really nice filament. Sweet.
Also, be careful when loading Bon Jovi as your song, as your GPS will be telling you you're only halfway there.
Okay. There you go.
Sweet. All right, let's go ahead and jump into this week's
Layer by layer.
Layer by layer.
Yeah, so we got a layer by layer for you guys. It's a pretty fun one. So we finally put our Trellis M4 kit together, and I was playing a lot with it, and I figured that I would make a bumper so that the edge is a little bit more comfortable. So I got the DXF file from the Illustrator file that we give out. I brought it into Fusion and did an extrusion, and then using that geometry, I just did a couple offsets to create a bumper that would, just like the iPad case here, hugs onto the edges of the acrylic case. So instead of designing like a whole new case and getting rid of the acrylic, make a bumper for the acrylic, because I think a lot of people are gonna. I really like the acrylic case. It's really nice. Nice design by Phil B, by the way. So I walk you through how I design a really simple bumper, and there's some things here that you have to kind of look out for, like the ports, for example. How to add chamfers to features to minimize support material and print it without any support material. So that was just 1 minute, like a sped up video of the I think it's like a 15-minute tutorial that I walk through all the steps of modeling it. So that's this week's layer by layer. Check it out. Now we're going to jump into what do we prototyping, which basically walks right into the thing I designed. There it is. So this is a little 3D printed bumper for the Neo Trellis. It's printed with NinjaFlex. It's got some really neat spikes here on the sides. It looks really cool. It feels really nice in the hands. On the bottom here, you can see that there are some geometry here to kind of hold the thing together. There's a big opening here to allow all different cables to plug in here. And this is secured pretty well. So to take it off, you have this chamfered edge that kind of hugs those edges there, and it kind of clips on. It's really floppy here, so you can see that. You can stretch it and stuff. It's got nice grip to it, so it's very grippy as well. We also have it in different colors. Here's a more simple one that has a little bit of infill. It's like 3 millimeters thick, so it's got some really nice kind of feel to it. And the way it installs, it just kind of clips on to the edges. Make sure all these are fine. You want to make sure that the screws aren't, pulling this away. So just kind of orient your screws until they're flush with the edges there. But I wanted to make sure that some things weren't covered up, like the silk screen here. It's so beautiful. You can see all the circuitry here at the bottom. It's clear acrylic. And the acrylic case is a part of the kit, so I really wanted to make something that complements it, not replaces it. So there you go. It feels so good in the hands too. I printed quite a few of them, so I'm actually going to send them to Phil. So I think they'd like it. But there's a lot of fun things you could do. Like mainly like all the ideas that we're talking about this bumper here. You could add some loop rings or something, or maybe a handle here so you can carry it around. Or maybe you could put a face in there. It is NinjaFlex, so you can kind of have fun with it. Like, hey. Look, he's dancing. Maybe put a face here. That's what we need to do. We need to put a face. I'm known for putting faces on cases, face cases. So there we go. We'll try to do that. Okay, so that is, I guess, next week's project, because I'm putting together a learn guide for it.
A week after.
A week after, maybe. But the files are available right now. If you look at the layer by layer, there is a link in the description that you can download this. So if you have some NinjaFlex lying around, and you have access to a 3D printer, and you have the Neo Trellis M4, I would try it out. Shout out to Kirby for beta testing it. He printed it out on his Taz using some Sane Smarts TPU. It's like half the price. It's good stuff. Check it out. This is of course NinjaFlex though.
Yeah, he says it even works with the 0.8mm nozzle.
Yeah, that's right. He posted, or he's at least shared an image with me.
It takes about 40 minutes to print with that.
Nice. Yeah.
This one I think took about 4 hours.
No,
right?
2 hours.
2 hours?
Yeah.
You sure? On the Inventor?
Oh no, on the Ultimaker S5 it takes 2 hours. On the Inventor, which is our new printer back there that we carry in the shop, that one takes like 3 hours, something like that, 3 or 4 hours.
It's just because of the elastic.
Material. Yeah, this is the 85A, so it's very, very rubbery. I have some over here that's printed with the cheetah stuff. It doesn't feel as good. It feels more silky, so it doesn't have that grip. And it's more firm. So these spikes actually kind of hurt after a while, but they do not here. They're just nice and squishy there. So if you wanted to use cheetah, I'd probably print the simple version. It's because it's more firm, it's less floppy. So I think I don't know which one will probably. This one probably will protect it more because it has that bounce to it. Yeah. So you're not going to crack your beautiful acrylic case. So there you go. Those are some bumpers that we're working on for the Neo Trellis.
Yeah, it says it took around 4 hours for NinjaFlex at 0.25 layer height.
Cool.
Yeah, these take quite a while.
Yeah. You want to print them slow so that you get good layer adhesion. So that's cool.
Let's see. So musical stylings time.
Yeah. Are we on time?
We got about 20 minutes left, so let's go ahead and jump into this week's either prototyping or community makes.
Okay, we'll do this next week. Next week I'm just going to play it the whole show because we've already talked about the thing.
All right, which one?
Yeah, so we're doing community makes every Tuesday. We have a time lapse. We're going to start off with the Chalice. This was the one that happened
the week before.
The week before.
So it is the premiere of us doing the Octolapse style time lapses, which means that we're using a plugin with Octoprint, takes the print head, moves it away, so the camera can do its shutter while the
tool head is away. Yeah, so you get these parts that print out of thin air. Super slick technique. Last week we talked about the in-depth. We walked through the plugin page and we talked about different samples.
We'll actually take a look at the magnetic switch that we're using now.
Yeah,
but
you want to do that now?
No. For this though, super awesome. I don't know how to pronounce this. Dwarven Chalice. I looked it up. It's from World of Warcraft. Super awesome geometry for adding as a glass holder, a cup holder, or something like that. Which is what I wanted to do. Just ran out of time. Would have looked really cool with a glass cup and some sparkling beverage in there. Would have looked cool. But we're using the it's a two-piece design, so it snaps in like that. I should have glued it in. Tolerance was a lot more tighter when I first popped it off the bed. But we're using the Filamentum Noble Blue, just giving us this really cool shimmering effect on all the detail. And it's a really cool print for decorations, especially this time. It does match either Halloween or Christmas.
Yeah, for the folks asking, what printer did you print this on?
Oh,
it's the Prusa IK3S 2.5.
No, it's the MK.
Just the number. I'm swagging on the number. Whatever it is. It's a Prusa. I don't know.
What I was really impressed with was the retraction on all the little framing details here. It came out super good. Didn't have to do too much cleanup. Just a bunch of tiny little wispy hairs like that come off super easy. And no support materials because it is printed in two different sections. And super cool details on all of the little fine parts around the chalice.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Super
Shout
cool.
out to the designer. This is a design that we found on Colts3D.com. Check them out. They're a nice curated repo. and you can download it from here. We have the link in the description. He used Nutella, I guess. Why is Nutella there?
I don't know.
Yeah. What's the story behind that? If you guys know, let us know.
Andy's saying that it's pronounced
Arzmael.
Dwarven.
Dwarven?
Yeah.
Like war. Okay, Dwarven. Sweet. Very nice geometry. Sweet design. All right, next one up is a boat. A boat that floats. This was also printed on the Prusa MK2S using the Octoprint Octolapse plugin for Octoprint.
Check out the
phenomenal
crazy
detail.
little tiny
this
details.
Is from Van Dragon Day. Super awesome designer who specializes in designing boats. He's designed quite a few boats.
Yeah, the cool thing about this one is that it actually floats, doesn't sink. Did a very good job withstanding all of the splashing, the waves that we stuck in there with the child, and it even survived the hot tub test. It was about, what was it, 50 or 60, whatever. Not that hot, but it didn't melt.
It's like 40 C in there.
And if we take a look at the details for this,
oh yeah, let's do that.
This is printed at 150 microns on the Prusa there. One thing to note, though, is that the structure and integrity of printing something with the print head moving away is that you are going to make it a little bit more weaker. This one was printed on the Ultimaker, so it didn't have to have the print head move away, and it was able to withstand like throwing into a bag and, you know, having it all tossed around.
Yeah, as soon as I pulled it out of the bag, I broke it. We're going to get the shot. We're at the pool. I take the thing out and snap it right off.
Yeah, so that's just one thing to keep in mind when doing an octo-lapse, time-lapse like that. When you have the print head move away, your part is cooling down, so adhesion for every layer. That's probably not going to bind as well.
Can I show folks the detail here?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, this is some crazy good detail. That's a chain. That's a freaking chain. Look at my thumb. Look how big my thumb is. Well, that's not my thumb, but you know what I mean. There's some overhang to the chain. Like, that's some crazy good detail.
Yeah, there's a lot of detail packed in there.
This isn't like 100 microns, is it? It's like regular.
This one's 150.
150? That's not bad. A lot of overhang stuff here that catches very well. So all that stuff is see-through, right? The windows and everything. Yeah, yeah. Very, very cool. And very lovely work.
And it's designed. It's designed to do a really good job of floating too.
Yeah, it's a floater. It's on Thingiverse. You can check it out. Van Dragon painted it, I believe, or
I think he's doing the filament swap.
Filament swap. Super awesome design.
I forgot to do the little boats that are on the side too. So there's even more detail.
That's crazy. There's separate lifeboats.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And he's got a really lovely video as well.
He has a detailed video on having different infills to
I won't play the whole thing, but here's some of it.
To balance the way that the infills are laid down using Simplify 3D. So you can check that out.
Oh, there's a reason why it's called the icebreaker.
Yeah, I know. I wanted to grab a bag of ice and throw it in the pool.
Oh, that's fun. It's an icebreaker. Sweet stuff. He also has like some Simplify 3D Curios stuff.
Yeah, it's doing
quantity. That's cool. And you can support him on Patreon. He's got awesome designs. So check him out. He's on Thingiverse too, or on Instagram as well. Super awesome designs from the amazing Van Dragon. Very cool. So that's Timelapse Tuesday. Shout out to all of the shout-outers.
If you have a cool print for us to check out, send it our way. We'll make a little cool video.
Yeah, so this is an update to our sort of rig that we have set up for the Prusa. Tell us about it, Peter.
Yeah, so last week we talked about using a little micro switch to have it activate when the print head gets out of the way. I did have to lower the bed size just so that the switch had enough room to interact with the print head. But using a magnetic switch, I don't have to do that since I did have to accommodate room for the little switch here. When it gets to the top of the printer, it would interact with that little holder, a little printed holder that has the rods in place. With the magnet, they don't have to go up that much. There's no latch to accommodate, so it just automatically, you know, once it gets close, it activates the shutter on the camera, and it takes your time-lapse picture. So we're seeing there.
Not much hacking or taking things apart.
It pretty much just hot glued it to the top there. Instead of like completely modeling some parts for it. It was a lot more easier to just hot glue it and move on.
There you go. And yeah, we're just using the standard camera remote. We didn't make anything fancy. We didn't program anything. It's just your off-the-shelf Canon 5D, so it's a DSLR.
And this will work with any camera. Yeah, we just grabbed a shutter camera or a shutter release cable. As you can see there, it's just alligator clipped to the ground.
I don't think we showed it here, but yeah.
We showed it 2 weeks ago.
Okay, cool.
Super easy.
Yeah.
Just two wires.
It's just a nice solution for something that we need. So yeah, that's how we're able to get these really nice, high-quality time lapses using our DSLR. Pretty sweet. All right.
Super awesome. Super easy way to do it with Octoprint and Octolapse.
Excellent. That was Shop Talk.
Yep.
Oh, no, I got the wrong footage there. Whoops, wrong camera. I'll have to fix that later. Cool. Well, don't forget, coupon code is geocaching. We're getting near the end of the show. And pick up stuff while supplies last, We
always keep forgetting. What was it? A couple of the 3D printers were on sale, but they're already out of stock. So
thank you for buying them. It supports all of us here at Adafruit, open source company, 100% woman owned, no VC capitals. Yep, bootstrapped or whatever. This is awesome. Thank you guys so much. It really means a lot. And tonight we have a show and tell. Do you want to come and share your projects with the world or what you're working on and say what's up to Lamar and Phil? You can do so by hanging out with us on the show and tell. It happens every Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. That's tonight. Later then is Ask an Engineer. You're going to get some new products. Oh, some secrets.
I was working on
secrets.
That secret stuff.
Secret stuff. That's tonight at 8 p.m.
Forget to tune in to the Discord to check out all of the links to jump on the show and tell. And then tomorrow's Jump Park. He's back. I think he's working on some more Trellis-based projects, so definitely tune in for that.
Yep.
Also gearing up for AdaBox 10.
That's right. Speaking of which, if you want that AdaBox, that sweet hot AdaBox, you need to get it now because I don't think the subscription is going to close soon. It's already closed for 9, so get on that if you want to get the most awesomest subscription box.
Took a peek. Looks like some really awesome projects coming up.
Yep.
Also, on that related note, take a look at our shipping deadlines. You definitely don't want to get caught up in a winter storm or truck that goes off of a bridge or something. Definitely order in time. Because everything is going to be out of stock by the time it gets closer to the holidays.
Here's a blog post that has all the holiday deadlines here. UPS Ground, place orders by Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern Time, December 7th.
You
should get it
right
on
now.
December 21. It tells you when it will arrive or when it should arrive.
There's an asterisk to that too, because remember, weather.
Weather. You can't avoid that one. You got 3-day, 2-day, next day, first class USPS.
Check it out on adafruit.com/shipping. You get all the dates there.
Is it really?
It should be shipping, yeah.
No way. Well, whatever. I'll take your word for it. I'm not going to type it right now. Cool. Well, there you go. That's the show, man. Thank you guys again for joining us. We do this show every week, for the most part, every Wednesday at 11 a.m. live. And shout out to the folks for tuning in.
Yay. Lots of good comments in the chat room.
Yeah, thank you.
Get us to follow us on all the socials, of course, on Discord. You can add us with any project suggestions and questions. Shout out to everybody in the chat room in both Discord and YouTube. Thank y'all for joining every week.
Yay. We wish you super good vibes on your projects. I know a lot of folks were on break and they get to work on their projects, and that's always the funnest when you get a little bit of time, you get to get in your lab, solder up some stuff, stay nice and warm. Always have your googly-eyed solder fume extractor on. Very cool stuff.
All right, cool, guys.
All right.
Thank y'all for joining.
We'll see you guys later tonight on the show and tell. But until then, remember to make
a great
day.
Here's this week's fail.
Yep, here we got a fail. Yeah, this is a new time lapse that we're doing. It ended up working, but we didn't put enough glue stick down, huh?
The vertical retraction wasn't high enough, and
but there's still like the glue didn't hold the thing. That's why they kind of fell off there.
Well, that's why
it didn't strike.
It striked.
Oh, because there wasn't enough glue stick.
there wasn't enough vertical retraction on it.
I think there's enough. You can see it retracting pretty good.
No. When it lifts.
Here's a really cool one. This is like what it fails like with the Octolapse plugin. You just see this like what happened? Like things like coming, like walking. It's self-conscious and walks away. Right there. You can see it walking away. It's pretty cool. Can you guys guess what this is?
I think I've already posted on the socials what it is.
Oh. Well,
tune in there to check it out what it is.
All right, bye guys.
Have a great one.